This is Dr. Bill Parker, and you're listening to the RHS Magnet Spotlight podcast. All right, well, welcome everyone to our very first edition of the RHS Magnet Spotlight. I'm your host, Dr. Bill Parker, and I'm here with our Theater Magnet Director, Erik Archilla.
Hi, everybody.
We want to spend some time. We really just want to kind of spotlight the programs and the students that we have here at Richardson High School in our magnet programs. We're hoping to get some community awareness, talk a little bit about what it takes to be in the magnet, and hopefully raise the profile and drive the interest in the magnet programs at Richardson High School.
We have quite a bit of programs here at Richardson High School.
We do, depending on how you count. We've got 10 or we've got 11, depending on whether or not we split out theater.
That ranges from the law magnet to the science magnet, visual arts, photography, culinary arts, communication magnet, computer science, the theater collective. We've got the technical theater magnet and theater performance magnet, robotics magnet, and manufacturing magnet. So there's a lot of different options here for students to pursue careers.
It's really cool because they have so many things that our students can do. For instance, we for years just had the robotics magnet as part of our group. But then we decided that we needed a manufacturing magnet because the robotic skills with the programming and the building and design is more of a STEM-related career path, whereas manufacturing allows us to spend more time with machining and tooling, welding, and working on some of the other trades that maybe weren't being experienced very much in the robotics side of things.
And for those that don't know Richardson High School, we have a feeder. We are a normal community school. We also have students that live in the area that go to here, but also students can apply or audition to join the programs here at RHS.
That's true. Historically, just to take everyone back, a lot of people don't understand, Erik, or they've never heard, but starting in 1987, that is when the Richardson Law Magnet and Law and Arts Magnet began. And it was a time where within the attendance zone for Richardson High School, there was a declining enrollment because of a lot of empty nesters, and there were not as many students in our attendance zone. And at the same time, the Berkner zone was over full. And so what the district did is that they made RHS a school of choice for some magnet programs and allowed students from around the district to apply to Richardson High School to join the magnet programs. So not only did it boost the enrollment at Richardson High School to try to level things out, but it also helped alleviate some of the overcrowding over at the other schools.
And since then, it blossomed into this incredible program that kind of brings students from all over to RHS and to really highlight these programs.
100%. So we're going to shine the spotlight on the theater collective at Richardson High School.
Ironic, because we actually have spotlights that our students shine. Yes, we are the theater collective at Richardson High School. That's a rebrand that we did a few years ago. But we are the theater performance magnet and the technical theater magnet. When I started, it was just one magnet, and then our program grew enough that we decided to split it into two so that our students could focus more on the technical theater side or on the theater performance side. And it's a really exciting program, and I love working here. This is my 17th year in the school, and I love every minute of it.
Tell us a little bit about you, Erik. When you came here, you said 17th year. Tell us a little bit about your education, your background, and kind of what led you to Richardson.
So I started theater when I was in third grade, so I've been doing it for a long time. But I went to Baylor University for theater performance, graduated summa cum laude there, and loved my experience at Baylor Theater. Did lots of shows there, and they had a really nice, well-rounded program as far as me doing tech. I was the head of the shop for the work study, and so I got the technical theater side and the performance side. When I graduated from Baylor, I went to Dallas and was an intern at Theater 3 for a year and learned a lot of the administrative side of things and have been acting in the DFW area as much as I can. That's slowed down a little bit since my son was born, but I love acting around the area. And my friends and I started Second Thought Theater Company, which is now in its 19th or 20th season, so they're going strong still.
That's great. So Erik, this is my first ever podcast as a podcaster. I'm new to this, but you're a seasoned pro. Tell us a little bit about your highly acclaimed podcast, 1865.
Yeah, so my friend and I, actually from Baylor, we wrote a play called Booth that was about John Wilkes Booth. It was a terrible play, but many years later, we revisited it for Second Thought, which is the theater company I mentioned. We wrote an original play that we got a grant for and had produced, and it was very, very successful. And then some friends of ours that had written a audio drama podcast called Terms approached us about turning our play into a podcast. And so we then took that one play that was a 2-hour play and we expanded it to a 13, 15 episodes series. And then we added a second season to that as well. But it was a really fun experience to work on. And I had never done podcasting before that. I'd never even listened to podcasts before that. And so it was an entirely new format to me. And we're up to 6 million listeners or 6 million downloads on our podcast. And we're hoping to do a season 3. And it's been really awesome. And a couple of really awesome actors that we've had a chance to work with on there, like William Jackson Harper from The Good Place and several other amazing shows. Reed Birney, who was in House of Cards, that was the vice president, is also in our show, and many other fantastic actors. So our cast is really strong, and it's been a really great experience. It was definitely a learning experience going from stage to audio only, because you have to add like the characters introducing themselves. The audience needs to know, hey, who's in this room talking, and where are they, and what's in the room, and so it's definitely a different format, but it's been exciting.
I think the production value is really good. I really enjoyed it. It just kind of sucks you in, and you have sound effects, and you have voices and music. It's dramatic. It's just a great show.
And it's a great way to present history in a fun way, and we do talkbacks after every episode and kind of talk about what's true and what's not, and where we took artistic license. And some people have said they actually like listening to us talk about the show more than they like listening to the show, which I thought was surprising. So it's pretty fun.
That's great. That's great. I love it. Anybody that gets a chance, definitely check it out. I enjoy it a lot.
So 1865.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, we've talked a little bit about what the Theater Collective is, and we've talked about the tech theater side and the performance theater side of it. If you want to, go ahead and introduce us. Tell us a little bit about your team, our teachers, our students, and some of the opportunities that the students might have.
Yes, so I'm the department chair of the theater program of the Theater Collective, and I am supported by 3 amazing staff members that help me. I could not do what I do without them. Emily Whitman is actually an alumni. We'll talk about that in a second, but she's on the theater performance side with me. And then on the technical theater magnet side, it's William Donnie Covington and Alexis Suggett. And both of them are tremendously talented and great at design and are just very well versed in every area of technical theater. There's a lot of theater programs around the area that struggle to find good tech teachers, and a lot of times it's acting teachers that are trying to learn tech along the way, but I'm very fortunate to have 2 very experienced, very knowledgeable tech teachers that have a lot to share with the kids.
I think the part that I think took me as I became more acquainted with the theater magnets is that I was a little surprised. I always thought the tech theater guys did tech theater and the performance theater guys did performance theater, but some of our productions are actually directed by our tech theater teachers. Yeah,
we try to share the wealth, and we also all have passion projects and try to share who's directing throughout the year. A lot of times we have to multitask, so we'll be working on one program while we're designing for another and starting to audition. So there's a lot of spinning plates at the same time, and so I'll be working on musical in advance while they're working on fall show, and we kind of tag team it. And that's what's so great about the team, is that we're able to keep several balls up in the air as we're juggling everything. And they all have such unique voices, and they come in with these really amazing artistic visions for these productions that we all pick, and it's always exciting and I also think it's really beneficial for the kids to work with several different directors with several different directing styles. It's just going to make them grow more as well.
I think so too. I see, over the course of 4 years, I just see them blossom, and some of them that from the junior high, it's just insane seeing how much they grow from 7th grade to 12th grade when they come through the West Magnet through the Richardson High School magnet as well.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that we have a junior high magnet theater program that feeds into us from West. We also have a great program over at Westwood. And those students come into us with some good knowledge under their belt. We also try to meet students where they are, because we have a lot of students coming in that are joining theater for the first time. And when they come in, we want them to feel welcome and know that we're going to get them to where they need to be. But love the West and Westwood programs, led by Kurt Johnson and Jacob Hemseth, who just started this year. It was Nicole Novitt for many, many years, and Jacob's new to the program, so we're happy to have him with his choreography expertise.
To people that are very familiar with Richardson ISD, they understand that there's a strong tradition in the arts in our ISD, and we have a lot of great performances going on across the district. Maybe for the listener that is not as knowledgeable as to what we do at Richardson High School, take a minute and talk about what makes the theater collective at Richardson High School different. What makes our theater department different than the theater departments at other schools in the district?
That's a great question. First of all, I want to back up and say we are so fortunate to be in the community we are that loves the arts. Our ISD's always been very, very strong in support of the arts.
Preach.
And we could not do what we do without the support. Every time that bonds are passed and they're helping us with our facilities and helping our students to have opportunities, our community loves the arts, and it's really a cool place to be. I love working at RHS, I love working in our ISD, and I love this community because how supportive they are of the arts. Same with our admin, both in the district and on campus. Our admin is very, very supportive. What makes us special? Let's just talk about the program a little bit. The Theater Performance Magnet and the Technical Theater Magnet, they pretty much operate like college. Every year the kids have a certain curriculum that they're taking that builds on itself. It's really well scaffolded to where they're learning skills, foundational skills as freshmen, and building upon those skills as they go through our program. On the theater performance side, every single class has a show that they do in class, as well as the main stage performances we do. The freshman magnet theater class, they learn their foundational things about voice and diction and movement on stage and showing character through their body and their voice. Sophomore year, we pick up with really getting into acting techniques and approaching characters and analyzing the scripts. And then we take that ball a little further, and by junior year, we start to direct and playwright. So they're experiencing telling stories as a director and a playwright as well as an actor. And then by senior year, they choose a career path. So the students can either dive headfirst fully into directing, or if they really liked playwriting, or if they really liked acting, or also we added to this last year, which is theater education and theater administration. So if they want to be on the administrative side of things, or if they want to do theater education, and we actually last year and this year had them visiting all of our feeder schools and doing lessons with the theater classes, and gave those students the experience of being theater teachers and being in the classroom working with kids. So it's been a really exciting time to grow the department and kind of see where it will be headed. But we want our students to go to college having experience under their belt, so they're walking in already knowing what those directors want them to know and not being surprised by things. We want our kids to walk into their college programs and wow those directors that our kids are so knowledgeable and professional.
One of the coolest things I think that I ever saw, I had a prospective teacher that I was touring through the building a couple months ago, probably 6, 7, 8 weeks ago. And I walked down into our magnet communications area, and there's Mr. Archilla teaching a lesson to a bunch of magnet communication students. And it dawned on me, you're kind of this hub. You do a lot of cross-curricular projects and cross-curricular opportunities for our students and for students in other magnets and other departments. Talk a little bit about how you take what you do out into the building sometimes.
Well, we are surrounded by amazing professionals that are teaching in our programs. And so each one of our programs is really blessed to have all these incredibly knowledgeable instructors. And our kids are just going to benefit from all that experience shared throughout our programs. Mr. Morton, who's the teacher over at the Communication Magnet, and I got together and talked about ways we could connect our departments a little more, because that's one of the questions that a lot of students have at middle school entering RHS is, I want to be in movies. Do I do the Communication Magnet or do I do the Acting Magnet? And the way I always explain it to them is the communications is teaching that behind the camera, being a director, being a filmmaker, and the acting magnet, theater performance magnet, is where they're going to learn how to act in those films. And so Mr. Morton and I got together last year, and we had an open audition for the theater performance magnet kids to audition for his filmmakers that are writing these short films and producing these works, so that they have the opportunity to cast and work with actors. And that's a really great experience for them as directors to, how do I direct an actor in my film? So I went over there and gave a lesson on kind of the basic acting techniques that we teach our actors, so that the directors know how to communicate with them, how do they get what they want from those actors, or if they're acting in each other's films, they've got a foundation for that. And Mr. Morton's going to come over and do some acting for film for my group, so that we kind of cross over and share our expertise with each other, and again, just make our kids stronger. We've worked with the design classes to create posters for our shows. One of my favorite things is that every fall show we have the art magnet make art according to prompts that are based on our fall show. So our lobby has all these artworks that are based on all of the themes of the play, and we'll generally pick one of those as our show poster, which is really amazing. The one this year was incredible. So we try to cross over wherever we can. We've gotten with robotics before and had them make props for us. They helped us with many years ago with making a guillotine, a working guillotine.
Nice.
They've helped us with 3D printing things and manufacturing things for our set. So we are very fortunate to have all of these different groups that can help. When we did Legally Blonde, we used the Law Magnet Classroom to shoot some commercials because they have this amazing courtroom setup in there. So,
yes, indeed.
So it's about making those connections.
Well, I think you're a humble guy. You're not a name dropper, but when you're talking about your 1865 and you're talking about these big name actors that you work with, a lot of people don't understand some of the context that our teachers do have in the industry. Folks, I can remember the spring of 2020 when the world ended and we all went home, and we sent the kids home for 3 months to end the school year. And Mr. Archilla sent me a text. He said, "Hey, pop in on my Zoom today." So I popped in on his Zoom, and who do I find on this Zoom with him and his students but Josh Gad, who I guess for those of you that don't know him from his visual work, you probably know him as Olaf, right?
Mm-hmm. Olaf from Frozen.
Yeah, totally. So Erik, just real quick, tell us how you got Josh to drop in, because, honestly, these kids were sent home. They weren't getting to do shows. They weren't getting to see their friends. We're all under quarantine. You can't find milk at the grocery stores. The trudgery of having to go online. We're trying to figure out how to deliver education online and how to do this. I mean, we're doing this on the fly. It's like building an airplane while you're flying it. And I saw, they all sat up straight and their eyes got big, and it was so amazing for them to have Josh on your Zoom, just dropping in on your Zoom, and tell me about that and how that came to be.
So Josh Gad is we know through his agent, because his agent is the same agency as my producer for 1865. They had some communication, and Josh Gad had shared how much he loved our show, and in fact he's in a podcast called Blood Ties, which is another audio drama, and in the talkback he talks about his favorite show is 1865, which is a pretty cool name drop. So I just reached out to him and said, hey, we had just gotten the news that our seniors weren't walking at graduation. All of our kids were really bummed out, and so I reached out and said, hey, could you pop in and talk to the class? And he said he'd love to, and so we arranged it with his agent, and then he popped in and gave a really good talk to our class about just the business, and gave a really inspirational message about not giving up hope, and that we're going to see the other side of it and to keep growing, and it was really awesome of him to do that. And
the fun part was looking at him, watching him, you got to remember, his world shut down too.
He's sitting on his backyard, in his backyard on his porch,
totally
zooming.
He really was. But that's the beauty of the thing is that I think that it gave him a boost, just like it gave our kids a boost. It wasn't a trudgery. It wasn't something that now I got to call these kids.
Yeah.
Like he was glad to be there, and I think he really took a lot away from it too.
Yeah, I think he did.
I really do. Erik, so I guess last thing here before we start winding it down, we've talked a little bit about opportunities in the magnet. Tell me a little bit about some of the opportunities after the magnet, what maybe some of our grads have done, some of our success stories, those working in industry and elsewhere.
So we have students all over the nation. I always stress with the kids that there's not a specific place that you have to go to be successful. If you're not on Broadway or you're not in LA, that's cool. Like you can do theater anywhere you want. You can be successful anywhere you want. And we have students all over the country that are working. I think the biggest name we have is Caleb Landry Jones, who was in X-Men the First Class and Get Out and several of other amazing shows, No Country for Old Men. He graduated from our program. David Seitz, who was in our technical theater program, is working nonstop all over the country and makes way more money than actors doing what he does, working Super Bowl and working concerts for famous people, and he's just traveling all the time. But we have just in cities all over the country people that are professionals that are working and making it in the business, and that's to us the most important thing. We don't need people to be famous. We want people to make a career and be happy with what they're doing and be successful.
Tell me a little bit about the imprint that RHS Theater Collective has made around the district as far as our other directors at other schools.
Now that's getting competitive.
No, I'm just saying. We've got a ton of folks that are RHS grads that are now leading theater departments at other campuses. Yeah.
Backtrack.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah.
I misunderstood the question. I was like, we one of my favorite things to brag about is that we've had several alumni. I think we're up to 6 now, 5 or 6, that graduated and then came back to RASD to be my fellow coworkers in the district. Nicole Novitt was the first one that I remember, and then Sarah Muir Aaron Kane, Toby Meeks. I know I'm forgetting people, but it's so. Oh, and then Emily Whitman, who's now my. She was a junior or senior. I always forget. My first year at RHS, and then she came back and now is in my position that I had when I taught her. So that's just really strange, but it's cool. It's speaks highly of, I think, the district and the program that all of these people want to come back and want to have an impact and do have an impact and are very successful. Aaron Kane's doing amazing things over at the Lake Highlands area. I'm so happy that Toby's now there with her, and I always hear incredible stories from Sarah and how much the kids love working with her. And Nicole was there for many years at West and did an incredible job. And so I'm super proud of them. I think it's one of the things I'm most proud about is them becoming teachers and paying it forward.
I think it's great. Just a lot of great names, a lot of great folks coming out of RHS into the district. All right, so we're about to head into the time, Mr. Archilla, where students start thinking about what they want to do after 8th grade, moving into the high school. So as I'm going to close probably today with some information about the magnet and some of the dates coming up. But if a student is interested in joining the Theater Magnet, tell me what that process looks like.
So every magnet has kind of a different set of needs that they want to see to make those decisions about the students entering the programs. We all meet on the same days, but everyone has their own requirements. But the Theater Magnet itself, we have on the acting side an audition and an interview, and on the technical theater side they do an interview. Mm-hmm. And so if you were walking in to meet us that day, it's about doing the prep work. If we've given questions ahead of time or a monologue ahead of time, doing that prep work and making sure you're prepared and comfortable, and then coming in and just letting us know about you. And that's what we want to do, is just get to know these students and what they're passionate about and what they think they have to offer to the program and what they're looking for in our program. And we'll have that conversation. And we want people that are passionate about theater. And so it's not as important as what your background is. Again, we have lots of people coming in with lots of credits on their resume, and we have some actors coming in that have only done one show in their life, and we're going to meet you where you are. But it's having that passion and that talent, and we love seeing new faces from all over the district.
Well, we're going to be moving forward. I'll kind of give you an idea of the timeline. We're going to be visiting with junior high counselors later this week to talk a little bit about what the recruiting and sign up and audition timeline looks like. I want to let everybody listening at home know to watch risd.org, look for email blasts, look for the newsletters from the district. There will be information coming out. There will also be information being distributed to 8th graders via mail, as well as through their counselors at their junior highs. But we do have what we call Magnet Connect Day, which is going to be on January 13th. That's an opportunity for 8th graders to come over and spend a morning. They get to tour some of the programs, listen to us talk about RHS, get to talk to some students and take a look at the programs to determine if they think they might want to be a good fit for RHS. Shortly after that, we have Eagle Celebration, which will be on Tuesday, January 17th. That's always fun because we have parents and students here. We start in the auditorium. We have a little pep rally. We have band. We have cheerleaders. We do some introductions. And then the parents and students have opportunities to rotate through and check out 2 of the magnets that they might have interest in.
That's one great thing about RHS is that school spirit. In fact, my mom was my connection to RHS. My mom was an Eagleette and graduated in... Gosh, when did she graduate? 62?
Wow,
so
all right.
Crazy. 60... Gosh, I can't remember. 67. She graduated 67. But she was an Eagleette, and so I bleed purple and gold. So
there you go.
It's awesome. But the pep rallies here are like nothing else.
They are. And just fun fact, Mr. Archilla is one of our MCs for pep rallies at the school.
Usually in some ridiculous costume.
Absolutely. Yes. Ridiculously awesome. After Eagle Celebration on the 17th, that's when our application will open. It's an online application. The link will be available on our website. And the application deadline is January 31st. After that, we're going to have a couple of Saturdays where we'll have some auditions, and we'll also have interviews for some of our different magnets. And we hope to send letters out around spring break as far as acceptance into the magnet.
And all the magnets have a grade requirement of having an 80 average and an 80 in your English class. So
absolutely.
Try to keep those grades up. If you're wanting to apply for the program, be sure to watch those grades this year and keep them up. And we hope to see you in the spring.
100%. All right, before we wrap it up, Mr. Archilla, tell us what's going on in the Theater Magnet, upcoming dates, anything you want to plug.
So we just wrapped up our fall show 12th night on Thursday, which is probably... After this has been mixed, we have our children's play, and then Chicago's coming up end of January 26th through 29th.
I'm really looking forward to Chicago. We've wanted to do that musical, for the last few years since it initially became available.
Yeah, this is the teen edition. This has been adapted for high schools, and the dance and music are awesome, and our kids are really, really going to enjoy it.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up today for the Richardson High School Magnet Spotlight. Erik, thank you so much for spending the time with us today. And, of course, you'll be with us next time, too. It just won't be a focus on theater.
Yes.
It'll be a focus on someone else. But certainly, thank you so much, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you for all your support in our programs and for doing an amazing job as our AP. We love you.
All right. Thank you for listening to the RHS Magnet Spotlight. For more information on our programs, please find us on the internet at www.rhsmagnet.org. You can also find us on Twitter at @RHS_magnet.